Hi everybody, Dr. Ryan here, board certified specialist internist. Thank you for joining me. This is our second installment in the study summary series. God bless you. Thanks for joining me. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I'll strongly encourage you to consider that. Okay, we're talking about the DASH diet, the DASH trial, looking at dietary change in terms of its reduction of blood pressure. Some time ago, there was a cartoon called The Gummy Bears, and this is going back to the 90s, right? And the theme song goes something like dashing and daring, courageous and caring, faithful and friendly with stories to share. Yeah, so I also looked at the title Dash, and it reminded me of the Dash song from Gummy Bears. Anyway, this was a study taken from the New England Journal of Medicine, published in 1997, so quite some time back. The actual title of the trial is A Clinical Trial of the Effects of Dietary Patterns on Blood Pressure, and the authors were Apple, LJ, and Al. Okay, so as usual, we're going to cover the key points and then go into a quick rundown of the study. The first point here is that, guys, a combination diet rich in fruit and vegetables and low in saturated and total fat was found to reduce blood pressure in comparison to the typical American diet. The second key point was that blood pressure reductions were observed in the setting of stable weight, number one. Number two, unchanged sodium intake. And number three, consumption of no more than 2 alcoholic drinks per day. Let's talk about it a bit, guys. At the time of the dietary approach to stop hypertension, the DASH trial, national guidelines recommended reduced salt intake, weight control, and reduced alcohol consumption as nutritional means of controlling high blood pressure. Now, observational studies suggested that increased vegetable consumption could reduce blood pressure as well. Follow-up trials assessing the effect of individual nutrients on blood pressure were inconclusive. So the DASH trial sought to assess the effect of dietary proteins rather than individual nutrients on blood pressure control. Results showed that in comparison to the typical American diet, which was low in fruit and vegetables, a diet rich in fruit and vegetables, so-called fruit and vegetable diet, significantly reduced systolic and diastolic blood pressure, while a so-called combination diet rich in fruit and veggies and low in saturated and total fat showed a greater reduction in blood pressure. Now, blood pressure reductions were greater in hypertensive participants than non-hypertensive participants. Notably, the reduction in blood pressure in hypertensive participants was similar in magnitude to reductions achieved through monodrug therapy. Now, the strength of this trial was the large proportion of minorities enrolled. More than 60% of participants were from minority groups for all three experimental diets. Now, this was done to reflect the disproportionate burden of hypertension in minority populations. Moreover, diets in the study were designed so that the salt content was kept at a max of 3 grams per day. Participants were also, allowed to consume 1 to 2 alcoholic beverages per day, and the weight loss was not a required goal. These findings suggest that the blood pressure reduction achieved the DASH diets are meant to complement rather than supplant current recommendations to reduce salt and alcohol consumption. Limitations of the trial included the lack of long-term assessment of the DASH diet's efficacy, as the trial consisted of only 11-week feeding periods, quite a small feeding period there. Notably, patients' ease of adherence to the diet was also not evaluated. In summary, the DASH showed that dietary modification involved increased veg and fruit consumption, and decreased fat consumption offers an additional approach to lowering blood pressure. Alrighty. So just to reinforce, guys, these were the salient points once more. Combination diet rich in fruit and veg and low in saturated total fat reduces blood pressure in comparison to a typical American diet, and that blood pressure reductions were observed in the setting of stable weight, unchanged sodium intake, and consumption of no more than 2 alcoholic drinks per day. My friends, the Apostle Paul tells us in the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9, he encourages us by saying, never. Now, whenever you see the word never, it means never. Become weary of doing good, for at the proper time you shall reap a reward if you do not give up. Yes, continue persisting in blessing others. The Bible says, even your enemies, bless them, do not curse them. Show love, walk in love always. And by so doing, you are personifying the nature and character of Jesus. Hey man, have a lovely day. I'll see you soon.